You guys know that I just recently did that laser thing last week, so it's very, very important after you have laser that you are 100% completely covering your skin with SPF after laser. This is why you actually want to do your lasers in the winter and not in the summer, because your skin is just very fresh and new, so you want to completely protect it from any harmful rays in the sun. Which I do this, you guys know I always protect my skin, so this is normal for me. But I'm going out to dinner with my sisters and my mom tonight while my sister is in from Florida. So I'm doing a full coverage, and whenever I do full coverage, I use a liquid foundation underneath. If you've had a shade match from me, I talk about this in my shade match. It's the best full coverage you can possibly get. Layering, especially the beauty counter underneath and the Seint over top. It's gorgeous. So I'm just going to do this layer. Now this is full coverage. If you're not a full coverage person, you probably wouldn't like this finish, because it's definitely a makeup look. But at night is when you can get away with a makeup look, because there's no sun shining on your skin to make it look cakey or dry. Indoor dark lighting looks so pretty with full coverage. Question I get all the time is, well, can you do full coverage with Seint alone? Oh, absolutely you can. But having been a makeup artist for 24 years, I love to layer, and each thing that you layer when you're doing full coverage has a purpose. So I just love the different aspects of what particularly this foundation does. There's a couple others that I would recommend underneath, but this one's a really, really great one. But look how flawless that makes my skin. However, I would never only wear a liquid foundation. It just literally made my skin one tone, and that is never a good look. So that's when I go back with my Seint highlighter. Another little trick, if you want to play around with liquid foundation and Seint over top, I love to use the beauty counter powder in between the layers. Now, again, this is going to give a heavier coverage. This is really a full coverage and is going to make the skin look flawless. So if that's what you're going for, then this is a great tip. And you guys know how obsessed I am with the beauty counter mattifying powder. It does not go cakey. It just looks absolutely gorgeous on the skin. And bonus, it doesn't dry the skin out, which is huge. Bella bronzer. I'm doing Candlelit as my base, White Peach as my brightener, Olive as my contour, and this is Venice. I'm using Venice as my blush for, it's actually the prettiest color. I know it looks crazy in the tin. The Bella bronzer. And I'm going to use the round end of the 3D brush, and I am just going to go across my forehead, just where the sun would, I always say bronzer goes where the sun would kiss. So I'm gonna go over here. This trick in applying your bronzer underneath your makeup is one of the best bronzer tips I've ever done. It's such a game changer. Okay, so now it's time for contour. So see this area right here? You don't want any contour in this area. So to make sure you don't get contour in that area, you want your contour to go just along that cheekbone. And I talk about that in my shade matches. I will be starting up on my shade matches again very soon. I haven't been able to do them just because I was taking a break. I was giving myself a break for a week, but I'm probably gonna start on them again on Saturday. So anyway, I like to start at my hairline, and I follow the bone right there with my finger. You can go up a little higher, like right here if you want. However, sometimes if you put the contour too high, that looks weird too. So just for a natural contour, just right under right along the cheekbone, almost like on the underside of the cheekbone. And then you can either put your contour on with your brush. I'm going to use the pointy end of the 3D brush, and I'm just going to go right along my hairline. Remember, I'm doing more of a glam makeup today, so I want a makeup look. Okay, this area right here, don't forget about this area. This area does not look good totally skin color when you have lots of different tones going on everywhere else. All right, I'm gonna do a little jawline contour today. Jawline contour and under your chin is just this whole area we're trying to shadow. That's all contour is doing, is creating a shadow. And I like to kind of connect right here. Now that we have our bronzer and our contour done, and let me tell you, there is no order that this has to go in. The only thing I recommend being first is the bronzer. Okay, so now I am going to put my main highlight shade on, and that is Candlelit. And I'm just going to do a swipe across my cheeks. And like I said, you totally can do full coverage with just the Seint highlights. But I just love, oh my gosh, I love the finish of that Beauty Counter liquid with the Seint. I mean, it's one of the prettiest finishes. And just so you know, the people that buy it from me say the exact same thing. They're like, this little combo is like makeup life changing. Okay, so then I am gonna do a little bit of that Candlelit across my forehead. You can do a line, you can do dots, you can do whatever you want. It's just easy for me to do a line. And I'm gonna do a little bit. So if you don't understand what highlight and contour is, the main shade on your face, that's for the main areas. When I say a base highlight, that is like the main shade. That's the main areas of the face. The brightening shade is where you want to brighten up just a little bit. You don't want to go too bright, because if you go too bright, you're actually going to draw attention to that area. You just want to brighten it up a little bit. So I love White Peach. I feel like it's a great shade just to brighten. We can always go back with a little bit of color corrector if we want to brighten more. But I'm just trying to brighten up a little bit in these areas that get shadowy and just need a little bit of brightness. Like a lot of people get a little bit in this area. But you kind of know your face. Like, look at your face. Like, where do I want to brighten? I like to brighten right here a little bit. My ring fingers. And sometimes I start at the bottom. I have kind of like a funky nose, so I feel like there isn't much that helps. I do, that's the extent of my nose contour. All right, so there are a couple different ways that you can go from here. A lot of times people love to spray a setting spray on their face at this point, and just gives a little bit extra grip for the highlights. I'm just gonna wait on that, but you can, and you kind of have to like figure out your makeup. People want this exact recipe or want to do it exactly how I do it, but because all of our skin is different, you do have to kind of play around. You'll find the way you like it. Okay, so I just like to take the round end of the 3D brush and I just start blending. All right, so I did my forehead. I don't know why I always start with my forehead. Now I'm just going at my under eye. I'll save my nose for last. But right now, you can't tell, but I'm barely touching my skin with the brush. And I'm definitely not pulling any contour down. I'm pushing the contour up because I want to keep that nice and crisp. I'll come down here, over here, we'll go this side. Barely blend in. And then when I add blush, I am going to add a little bit more bronzer, just for the tone. I'm actually going to use my finger just because I want a certain amount in a certain area. A little darker here. And do the same thing over here. A little bit darker and a little lighter. Okay. So let me get a little tiny bit more here. I'll do a little bit on the nose. You know how people are doing the little winter nose? We'll do a little winter nose. I'm gonna start right here. And then right back here, I am blending the contour and the blush, because that's what I like to do back here. And then I'm gonna keep the blush nice and bright right here. Go right over here, because I want to. I've always told you guys I love a blushy look. And it's gonna look a little blushy until I get my eyes on, and it'll all come together. All right, the best trick for full lips, especially when you have a smaller lip like me, is I go like this. And I fill in that Cupid's bow. Then I come over here and I stay along the lip line here. Stay along the lip line. Then I come down here and I go below the lip line. And then I go over here on the lip line. And then I kind of do a circle like this with lip liner. And everything outside of the circle. So if you do a circle like this, and then everything over here, over here, over here, and over here gets lip liner, and then this stays just your natural lip. And then I like to go back and blend it out and soften it, which will make your lips look even bigger, but still actually look very natural. Just a little trick. And then of course, I love lip gloss. Okay, I'm keeping my eyes very basic. I always keep my eyes basic. I'm so boring with my eyes, but I'm like not boring with my lashes. So I'm prepping my lids with Gerard Cosmetics lid primer. It is the best. You don't need a lot of this. A little goes a long way, but it is so great for eyes that are not young, because it doesn't settle into wrinkles and it doesn't make your eyelid tight. And I don't like when my eyelid looks tight. I'd rather have creases than, like eyeshadow creases, than a tight lid. So I just like tap it. This one right here, Trust. And I am going to cut me off, but I am doing like a really like lifted look. Very simple, but very lifted look. And this is Trust. The trick for this one is you don't go all the way over here. We'll blend it out a little bit over there, but you don't start out there. You start maybe just like a quarter of the way in. And right now it doesn't even have to look nice. We're just getting the shadow on, because we will blend it later. But see how you can already tell, get this right, it already is giving me lift. So this shade right here, it's called Drift, and that's gonna go in the center. To the big palette, it's Zion. I'm just gonna put the Zion right in the middle here. I start blending over here. I'm not gonna go too much into my the drift because I don't want all of my eye being shimmery, just the middle. But it's okay if a little bit. I just try to blend in those lines. And I just do very, very, very simple eyeshadows. I don't know why. I'm just not a big, crazy, like colorful eyeshadow person. It doesn't look right on me. It ages. I'm going back to the chest and just a tiny, tiny little bit in this outside corner. And then I will flick up just to soften. But you can see I created that lift right here first. A little bit of Seint under here. Yeah, mascara. All right, so mascara, I'm gonna actually curl my lashes first. Show you guys how I curl my lashes. So get my lashes in there, and once I get them in, I kind of just make sure, don't press too hard. I don't have any mascara on my lashes, but see how nice that lift is? But you really do, like this little tip right here, where you're kind of just like making sure they're like evened out, they're all in. I do this all the time. Every time I curl my lashes, I do this, and I just kind of, just a few times, just in case any of them don't make it in. All right. Oh, and I'm using this new mascara that I got. Remember I shared that lip gloss or the lipstick, and I love it so much. Okay, so she sent me their mascara because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get it, and they're like, we'll send you one. Okay, first of all, the tube is refillable, but I have used this so much in the last few weeks. It is really, really good. So I am using this as my first layer. So the thing about this mascara, I feel like it's a fantastic everyday mascara. What I like about it so much is that it is very feathery. I don't know if that makes sense, but it gives a super feathery lash. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can compare it to any other mascara, but you can already see, I feel like it just gives this very, and it's very matte. That's the other thing. It's very, very matte, very clean. So then I am going to set it and lock it all in with Guide Beauty's mascara. You know how much I am obsessed with this stuff. This is like my all-time favorite finishing mascara. Everybody needs this. If there are, you know how there's a couple of beauty products you're like, okay, everybody needs that, like setting spray. I feel like everybody needs a good setting spray. Everybody needs a good tubing mascara. This is my good, this is, you know how like you always have like a good, one side is like works really well and one side is going through like, I don't even know what, something. This is my good side today. A coat of Guide, and I mean, so good. And I almost always do a tubing mascara on the bottom just because, and I've talked about these all last year. I found these when I was at Ulta. I was just like, kind of like waiting for something or somebody, and I was looking around and I found these. And I see a ton of makeup artists are now using them. So, but I love this stuff to fill in the white gaps under my lashes. See how that gave such a nice crisp line? White under eyes is never great, but this is the best tone liner I have found. I use this for so many things, but I just feel like this does such a great job of brightening eyes. Right now, brows. I already have mine filled in a little bit from this morning, so I think that's good enough. I'm just gonna add a little, like a couple brow strokes with this little pen. Now this pen is running out, so I need to get another one, but I have to like go back and forth so they get the same amount of, oh, yeah, that's good. There have been times where I'll do like this whole brow and then it'll be like pretty much gone by the time I get to the next one, and then I have to wait like 5 minutes for the tip to kind of like refill. But this is a great little brow pen. It's just really easy. I want them really fluffy today. This before, I don't know if you maybe picked it up for 25% off for Boxing Day, but this is Seint's brow wax. It's a soap brow, so it has to be, I've had this question so many times, it has to be liquid activated. It will feel like it's all dried up, but that's not how you use a soap brow. I use these little disposable spoolies. I spray some setting spray or water, whatever you want to use, on my spoolie, and then I just swirl it around in the soap brow, and I go down. You don't have to go down, but I go down, and then I go up. And I'm telling you, your brow won't budge the entire day. It's the best stuff. I've tried so many different brow setting, whatever they're called. This one is not least, well, it's kind of like second to last. I am going to do a little bit of color correcting, and then I'm going to set with powder. I am going to color correct with probably these two shades today. That is the Demi Y1 for the purple right here, and the O1 for the blue, which is like right there. So I'm gonna start with the O1. And this stuff like just pretty much makes little circles, especially what I have, because I have like deep set eyes and I have eye hollowing. So that shadow is just pretty, just stands out. But I can really soften it with a little bit of correcting. Already it just looks softer. So, and then my little triangle with the beauty counter powder, and I'm literally only gonna go in that line just to really, you know, soften it and make sure that I don't get any creases. But like I really don't, because I already did everything I needed to do to avoid those creases. But see how much smoother it looks because I color corrected that, the blues and purples out. And I'll just do it over here. You guys know I'm pretty much anti-powder, and I have been for so long until I found this one. Because this one actually doesn't get cakey, but even more important, it is a safe powder, and powders are not safe. This one is safe. Also, the other really great thing about it is it doesn't dry out your skin. Like a lot of times powders dry out the skin, and the next day you're like dry. So yeah, but this is a good one. So, and then that's it. I'm going to curl my hair and get ready to go out to dinner. I'm so excited. I get to go hang out with my fam. Kind of far away, so but see that little trick with that eyeshadow, how I created that lift? I don't know if you can see in person, it's like game changer. But everything looks like blended and not cakey. My sister, who's in from Florida, like my mom and my sisters, they're my best friends in the whole world. But my sisters and my mom, when we get together, which is, I mean, I'm always with my littlest sister and my mom, but since my other sister lives in Florida, we just don't see her very often, and I just miss her so much.